UCLA basketball punches another national powerhouse in the mouth. Each Lakers victory makes every trade rumor sound that much more ridiculous. And the Dodgers make a highly un-Dodger-like signing. Until you look under the hood. Good morning, I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos morning report. It is December 18th, 2022, Sunday. Make sure you take a moment, contemplate the good things the Lord has brought into your life. Good friends, the food in your stomach. For me, it was looking at my wife for the first time in a week after a road trip. And I realized it's not a very Christian thing to say, but I was looking at her like I'd been locked up in a Russian prison. So there's that. If you like the content we put out about LA sports, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notifications bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And yeah, comment. That's why I put the thing together in the first place. So before we go through the news and notes, quick look at the scoreboard. Do you believe in the UCLA basketball team? The 16th ranked Bruins sank 13th ranked Kentucky 63-53 in New York. Two ranked teams UCLA has defeated in the last week. On the road, I might add. Jaime Jaquez Jr. scores 19 for the Bruins, but we have to break this down a little bit more in a few minutes because this week has been absolutely huge. The Clippers handled Washington 102-93. Kawhi Leonard, bless his load managing self, scores a season high 31 points. And the LA Kings post back-to-back shootout wins. This one over the Sharks, 3-2. Meanwhile, today, the Chargers are going to host Tennessee this afternoon. The Bolts edged back into playoff contention last week. If their lousy run defense, which gives up more than 5 yards a carry, if they could figure out how to limit Derrick Henry, I would be this close to saying LA could book a ticket to the playoffs because this is the toughest game remaining on their schedule. By the way, Derwin James out for the Bolts. Washington stays in LA. They're going to take on the Lakers at 6:30. LA will be without Anthony Davis, who left Friday's game with a foot or ankle issue. He's been scheduled for an MRI. I'm kind of surprised he hasn't had it yet. USC basketball will host a ranked team in Auburn this afternoon. But the Trojans are 0-2 so far against ranked teams. We'll have to see how that one plays out. Because I'm not a college basketball expert. I know what I do not know. I don't know everything about college basketball. But if I were to guess how the Bruins made these two statement victories over the last week, it's because defense plays a much more significant role in the college game than the NBA. In my opinion, college players, the game is a little slower. The players have to think more. A defense, therefore, has a little bit more time to react to keep the scores lower. So when UCLA got humbled in Vegas with 2 losses a month ago, Coach Mick Cronin got on his players for poor communication on defense. And since then, the most points they've allowed in a game is 66 to Stanford. And that game was an ass-kicking. So they beat the hell out of Maryland earlier this week, and the Bruins limit the Terrapins to 20 points in the first half. 20. The Wildcats, meanwhile, yesterday, they shoot a season-low 33% from the floor. Kentucky has the reigning player of the year in center Oscar Tshiebwe. He scores only 8 points on 4 of 12, shooting. Clearly, they were throwing everything at him to take him out of the game. Triple teams I saw on the TV yesterday. So again, I'm not a college ball expert, but all of this tells me this has the makings of a defensive plan that was extremely well executed. And this makes the Bruins a threat because, again, defense matters more in college basketball than it does in the NBA. Now, I don't know how high they're going to rise in the rankings tomorrow, but I'd be surprised if they weren't in the top 10. And somebody asked me yesterday, I try to answer as many emails as I get. Somebody asked me on this channel yesterday, what is going to be the next LA team most likely to win a title? How can you not consider the UCLA basketball team? Over with the Lakers, backup power forward Wenyen Gabriel. He's going to miss his 7th consecutive game today with a shoulder injury. Now, this is a problem for the Lakers because he's their primary backup to Anthony Davis. And of course, as we mentioned, Davis, we don't know how long he's going to be out with a foot or ankle issue. You're going to see some unappealing options now at 5 on defense. Davis is a monster at both ends of the court. Without him or Gabriel, your primary defensive big has been LeBron James. And if you have a tape measure, you should understand LeBron James is not a big. He's not a center. He's barely qualifying as a power forward. And then you got Thomas Bryant, who can score, but he's extremely limited on defense. So the Lakers, I'm not going to say are sunk. That's extreme overreaction. But they do have questions they need to answer with regards to Anthony Davis not being in the lineup. By the way, speaking of Davis, there's been a lengthy discussion that people have had about whether Davis is a center because of the height, whether he's a power forward, whatever. Lakers great Shaquille O'Neal was asked for his 2 cents, which is probably what he has left over after FTX, but that's another story. He said, quote, "First note, let's not get it twisted. Anthony Davis is not a big man. He's a power forward. So let's just put combined big man and power forward. We can have this argument all day, every day. He's playing great, not being critical of him. I'm giving him the same information that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar gave me," unquote. And honestly, how can you not trust the opinion about what makes a center more than Shaquille O'Neal or Kareem? So there's that. The timeline for Lakers trade scenarios, by the way, keeps getting pushed back. And this is a really, really good thing, despite the fact that everybody is so excited for the idea of change. No. The further that the Lakers have to make a decision, the better. Originally, pimple-squeezing bloggers wanted the roster blown up even before training camp. Do whatever it takes to get rid of Russell Westbrook, if you remember that. And then the idea was, well, maybe we'll just push it back into 20 games in the season because we don't know what the Lakers have on their roster yet. Then it gets pushed back even more to, maybe just before Christmas, right? I mean, Jeannie Buss, she comes out for the holiday staff party. She says, "Hey, everybody, here's your holiday bonuses. And by the way, we've made a trade for a 3-and-D guy." No, none of that's happened. Now we're talking about the Lakers pushing the trade, their own personal trade stopwatch all the way back to mid-January. This is good, because it means the Lakers are exceeding expectations. Every single win that the Lakers get, combined with the struggles that teams currently in the playoff race for the Western Conference are having, nobody's running away with the West. This means that other teams might panic instead of the Lakers. So GM Rob Pelinka, he's made some curious moves, but being patient, I give him credit for it. See, NBA front offices think differently than a lot of other sports. This is why you don't see that many blockbuster trades in the NBA. You look at the Dodgers. What do the Dodgers have? They have so many assets. You have a 40-man roster. You have multiple minor league teams. You have multiple draft picks, all of which are subject to trade. Then you look over at basketball, the assets are starkly fewer. You have 15 players and draft picks, and you're not sure if you should trade draft picks, because if you have one crappy year, that draft pick is all of a sudden a lottery pick with the potential to go number 1. Every NBA team is loath, therefore, to make trades like that, just a panic. And definitely, because of the limited number of assets that these teams have, trades become, not only do blockbuster trades become few and far between, every team out there is trying to do what it takes to swindle their opponent. In other words, they're trying to say, hey, I've got 3 players who average 10 points a game. Why don't I give it to you for that one guy who averages 30? That's insane. Most general managers will not do that. So for the Lakers, you look at their roster. LeBron James and Anthony Davis are absolutely off the table. Bill Plaschke and some doof from CBS Sports keeps urging the Lakers to trade Davis. They're both overly emotional morons. It's not happening. The Lakers are buyers. Moreover, you could argue that the Lakers do not want to trade players that are exceeding the value of their contract. In other words, Austin Reeves is probably off the market. Max Christie, Lonnie Walker, Troy Brown, Wenyen Gabriel, even though he's hurt right now, all unlikely to be traded. So that leaves, you put all those players aside, and that leaves Russell Westbrook, Patrick Beverley, and Kendrick Nunn. What are you going to get for that, right? So GM Rob Pelinka is calling around asking if he could get himself a clear third scoring option for Beverley or Nunn, and the other GM is laughing his ass off, tells him to go F himself, and hangs up the phone. And then other teams call Pelinka, and they ask if they can get Anthony Davis. And then Rob Pelinka laughs at him, tells that guy to F off, and hangs up the phone. That's the way the trade market in the NBA is. So with every win, be of good cheer. That means Pelinka can be patient. But you've heard rumors about Bradley Beal. You've heard rumors about Kyle Kuzma, both of Washington. Why is that? Well, if the Wizards lose in LA today, the Wizards would be on a 10-game losing streak. And maybe Washington doesn't laugh at Rob Pelinka when he places the call in a couple of weeks. You see? Finally, the American sports press has gotten a Dodgers rumor true. Give it a slow clap for the state of American journalism. Well done, guys. JD Martinez. We once had 27 names on that whiteboard. We've been erasing them every time they go somewhere else. JD Martinez gets circled. Congratulations. Congratulations to the American press for finally getting 1 out of 27 rumors right. I remember when it was 27 names, right? Oh, the Dodgers were going to spend all this money on 27 people, as if the Dodgers had enough money to buy Twitter back from Elon Musk, right? And anyway, let's just move on. This signing seems a little weird when you look at it, because JD Martinez is the absolute anti-Dodgers signing. The Dodgers value versatility. Look at how many positions Gavin Lux plays. Chris Taylor, Max Muncy. For all we know, JD Martinez has to take a trip to Dick's Sporting Goods to buy his very first baseball glove, which is kind of cute. You know, were you like me with your first baseball glove when you were a kid? Did you sleep with your baseball glove because the leather smelled nice and it made you dream of being a baseball player? That's going to be a nice Christmas moment for a 35-year-old JD Martinez, don't you think? Anyway. But let's look at it a second time. First of all, he's not a terrible signing in the sense that at the zenith of his career, from 2014 to 2019, the man averaged 35 homers a year. Moreover, what makes this a potentially sneaky good signing, Martinez is not seen as a hitting coach as a hitting coach as much as he is a player. Martinez was signed by Boston, and he was asked to mentor this young prospect the Red Sox really, really liked. That was Mookie Betts, and we all know how that happened. So could he do the same with, say, Miguel Vargas, James Outman, Michael Busch? Possibly. If you're wondering about the Dodger lineup, I would guess Martinez plays every day, slides into the fifth slot. Last spring training, we were talking about how the Dodgers were probably creating the greatest offense in history. I wouldn't say that now. There is a drop-off, but it doesn't necessarily stink. The other thing I would let you know about this is this signing, considering Martinez would be dropped in the 5-hole of the lineup, means that this appears to mark the end of Justin Turner's tenure in LA. Turner's about the same age. He used to be slotted in the 5-hole of the lineup. Speaking of the Dodger list of players that obviously were not signed, we can add another name that I wiped off. That's Dansby Swanson. He signed with the Cubs. It's probably a good deal for them because unlike other free agent shortstops this offseason, Chicago will not be paying Swanson into his 40s. Aaron Donald will not take part in Monday Night Football with the Rams out in Green Bay because it's Green Bay. He hasn't played in Week 12 in Kansas City when he tweaked his ankle. You know what's not good for joint pain? Playing in Green Bay in December. 11-degree weather. By the way, John Wolford also will not play. That leaves the Rams with just Baker Mayfield and Bryce Perkins to match wits with Aaron Rodgers. And that kind of sucks. The Chargers waived wide receiver Jason Moore on Saturday. Perhaps you've never heard of Jason Moore, because I've never heard of Jason Moore either. He played in only 6 games this year, caught 1 pass for 5 yards. But let me know what you think in the comments thread. How legit is UCLA now? What do you think of the Lakers pushing back potential trade rumors and whatnot? And how does the Dodger lineup look to you? Let me know what you think in the comments thread. And if you enjoyed this content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We talk LA sports every single day. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back later today. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Corte El Queso production. Take care.